Okay, so out of just sheer randomness and partial boredom, I thought I'd talk about an idea I had tossed around that I didn't want to do, I don't want to do as a fan fiction or audio drama. I do not want to do those as either of the two, but it's something I want to do if I ever got my chance to write a actual. Well, actually, no. This would probably not work as an episode because it'd be a little too confusing. But this is something I'd like to do if I at least got a hold to do the Adventure Time Boom Studios comics. And that idea is the adventure. Like I said, this is an Adventure Time comic. Story arc. I'd really like to do just called the OOO-Thority. The OOO-Thority, yes, it's for those who are well versed in anything Warren Ellis or Wildstorm or the '90s Extreme era. Then the OOO-Thority is a total parody of the Authority from Warren Ellis. And as I'm a huge fan of his Stormwatch and Authority, and I just thought, how funny would it be to have like an Adventure Time version of the Authority? Now, before anyone asks, no, it would not. Let me explain the story. The story revolves around Princess Bubblegum peering into other universes after a while. She's using a new machine to peer into other universes, and she has Finn, Jake, and everyone there just looking at it. However, Ice King comes up, breaks in and messes everything up, and they get teleported to a universe where OOO looks very much like Earth. It looks like Earth. It's all the places are there. Like the Nightosphere is like a version of the underworld, which it technically is. But in here, it's like an actual known underworld. Like people fear going into the Nightosphere, and all the different dimensions, like the Rainicorn dimension and all that. They all exist as different countries. They're different countries. It's like Earth, but without the dimensions, and there is and everything. There is no magic really. There is magic, but there's not a lot of it, and it's usually a lot of technical stuff. And the whole place is governed by the OOO-Thority. And the place is called OOO. It's the world of OOO. It's called the planet of OOO this time around. And the whole place is governed by the OOO-Thority, which is this group of superheroes which are human-like versions. That's the thing. In this universe, all the humanoid creatures are human. Like Jake in this universe, the Jake of this universe looks human, and the Marceline of this universe was human until something happened to her, and Lady Rainicorn of this universe is human as well. And in this universe, like I said, it's controlled by the OOO-Thority, and the OOO-Thority is has this lunar base. They have this base on the dark side of the moon, and they monitor everything. They monitor every little conversation on a cell phone or on a laptop, everything. In the slightest sign of trouble or resistance, they'll come down and make the person disappear. And it's been that way for a long time. And it's controlled by by this universe's Jake, Finn, Princess Bubblegum, and Marceline and Lady Rainicorn and Flame Princess. And they're they call themselves heroes, and they're basically, like I said, the Authority. They're this very ends justify the means heroes. They're very aggressive. They monitor the world, even though there are governments there. The governments have to bow down to whatever they say, because if they have a problem, if the governments say oh no, we won't allow this, they'll come in and wreck a city, to get their point across. And there are villains of this world, but let me go into what the OOO-Thority is like. First, starting off with Finn. Finn's other alternate universe counterpart is he's British. That's the thing. Finn's counterpart would be this very British, very this very Cockney accent, and just this very rotten attitude. And he's also capable of being a weapons master. He's this master swordsman, and he's also very aggressive, but he's also the leader of the team. He is kind of he also has electric powers, so obviously he's a parody of Jenny Sparks. That's the thing with all these all these OOO-Thority members. They're parodies of other members of the Authority. So Finn is he's pretty much the parody of Jenny Sparks. And then moving on to Marceline and Bubblegum. Marceline and Bubblegum's alternate universe are known as the Princess and Nemesis. Nemesis being the Greek goddess of the moon. And Marceline is very much is the Apollo of this universe, and that universe's Marceline goes by the codename Nemesis, and her powers are revolve around the moon. She does have like super strength, flight, and all that, but she doesn't have the ability to like morph into. Now I remember. She does have the ability to like shapeshift, but she's not really a vampire. She was genetically augmented by her father, who in this universe was an occultist and also a scientist, and used magic and science to augment his own daughter into a monster, to be like some kind of weird messiah for a new world. And Nemesis, and she took the name Nemesis off the Greek goddess of the moon, and she basically, all of her powers, like kind of like how Apollo and Superman get their, they absorb solar radiation to, basically give them power. It's kind of like that with Marceline, with this universe's Marceline, where her power comes from the moon. She can go out in daylight, but she's not as strong as she is unless there's a moon out. So she basically harvests, her body absorbs the lunar light, and that makes her strong. And also with Princess Bubblegum, the princess, she's basically the parody of Midnighter. She's very cold, very calculating, and can just look at somebody and go, I know how to defeat you 500,000 times. Just give up. And she's not really a scientist. She's more of a fighter. She's like I said, very cold. And I would like, if I could get obviously they wouldn't let me write a relationship between Marceline and Bubblegum, but I would definitely hint at that this universe's Marceline and Bubblegum, the princess and Nemesis, do have something. They have there'd be a fight between the main OO universe heroes and the OOO-Thority, and suddenly Nemesis would just come busting in and be like, "Don't you touch her," and just shouting at everyone "Don't come near her, she's mine," stuff like that. Or they're beating up on some poor guy, and Nemesis is just like, "Are you having fun yet, honey?" and Princess would just be like, "Oh no, not even close." The other universe is like Jake. He would be the parody of Jack Hawksmoor from the Authority. He would have the last name. He'd be going by Jake Hawksmoor, and he wouldn't have the ability to manipulate cities. But what he would have is the ability to stretch. He would have his stretching ability, but he can. But the thing is, he can stretch certain organs in himself. He can make his bones rubbery, so he can dislocate himself to get out of a tight situation or slip into something. He can morph his body anyway, and he can even morph his body into making himself look like other people, like an exact replica, and even change their voice. So there's that. Following that is this universe's Lady Rainicorn, which would just be known as the Lady, who would be a human. Like I said, she'd have human-like abilities, but she was genetically augmented to fly as well as shoot energy bolts. She would be this universe's parody of Swift. And then, trying to remember, BMO. This universe's BMO would actually stand for something. Biomechanical organism. BMO. And it would be this universe's parody of the Engineer. What she could do is basically, this universe's BMO looks like an android rather than a computer, and what she can do is manipulate every form of electronics in the world, as well as be this android body who can morph into different weapons. Also in this, this universe has a Ice King, but this universe's Ice King was the original leader of the Authority and brought them together, and even helped helped Hunts and Abadir, this universe's Hunts and Abadir, genetically alter a lot of the characters in this universe. He's kind of like he's this universe's Henry Bendrix. He is very much this universe's Henry Bendrix from the Authority, the original Weatherman. So this universe would be very aggressive. They would not tolerate the idea of other universes coming into their fold. It's like, it's our world, it's our world, our rules. And Finn and the others from their universe are like, God, this is not how you be a hero. And they're like, we're getting results. Doesn't matter to us if people die. Oh well, that's collateral damage. Such is life. Our universe is a lot different from ours. Now, I wouldn't make it too violent. There would be some fighting and some good jokes, but I don't want to make it overly violent. It's a fun parody of the Authority, probably one of the most graphic comics out there. But I would, remember that this is a kids' comic, and I would keep a lot of the values. But I would make it a lot like that, as well as the 2-part episode A Better World from Justice League from the Justice League cartoon. I'd very much make it a lot like that, where they're fighting themselves, but they're completely different universes. Even though yes, I know in Justice League Unlimited we found out that it's a possible future in the of that what we thought was a mirror universe. But yeah, that's just more or less my ideas for this. This is something, like I said, I think I could do better in comic book form. This would probably be like 4 parts. This would be it. They'd come to this universe, and Finn and the others would come to this universe in the first part. Second part, midway through the first part, they find out who the OOO-Thority is. And second part, they meet them, and they don't get along, they fight. Third part, the fight continues, they have to run back to their universe. The fourth part is them being followed by the OOO-Thority into their universe and fighting them there on their own ground. And that would be the story. So, yeah, that's pretty much the ideas I had for that. This is something I'd really like to do. Boom Studios, please give me a job, because this is something I really like to do before, the Adventure Time comics somehow end. Because I'm pretty sure they're going to stay around for a long while, so... Yeah, anyway, but regardless, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my idea for the OOO-Thority. And you guys tell me what you thought of it, fellow Adventure Time fans, as well as, Authority fans and Stormwatch fans. You guys tell me what you think of all this, and yeah, I'm out.